speaker for the day is going to be Maria. And if you have an agenda, you might also see we do have an all-counter grammarian, and that's Kathleen, your general evaluator.
Correct.
So Maria is also the all-counter and the grammarian. We usually try not to do that, especially when we have a brand new member who's also giving their first speech. We try not to assign other roles. But Maria has shouldered it all and is a very good sport.
Okay, so who would we have for table topics?
Mel cannot be here, so I'm going to do table topics as well.
Oh, you'll be working hard today.
Yes, I will.
All right, thank you.
With my notes. So now we know who the grammarian is. As we have on our agenda, our first speaker is our newest member, Maria Hernandez. Evaluating her today is Kathy Klimpe. Kathy, could you give us Maria's objectives for the icebreaker?
Yes. I can do the title. That's no problem. Okay, the icebreaker. That's the very first speech given by new Toastmasters. So this speech, we look just to get to know the person. We also look to see what kind of speaking skills they may have inherently, or they may have from past endeavors. So we just look for a distinct opening body and conclusion. And you can use your notes if you would like, that's not a problem. This speech is typically, it's going to be 4 to 6 minutes. And I'm anxious to hear it. Thank you.
And the title of her speech.
The title, oh yes, the title of her speech is A Little Bit About Me.
A little about me, Maria Hernandez. Maria Hernandez, a little about me.
Wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Well, let me say a little bit about why I'm here. I'm going to preface this a little bit before I tell you a little bit about myself. I'm going to give you a little story. Once upon a time, I used to speak in public and conduct groups and workshops. And then life came rapidly, and that created a lot of traumas and serious situations that kind of took me back, and I lost a little bit of that ability somehow through life. And so when I learned about Toastmasters, I was excited because it sparked something inside of me and reminded me of what I lost and what I wanted to do and what I'd love to do. And that's why I'm here. So with you knowing that, I will begin with my name is Maria Hernandez, and Section Maria de Jesus Hernandez, and I was born in Mexico. I'm going to give you a little bit of my heritage because the lieutenant was so graciously curious. I wanted to know a little bit more about my hair. Okay. Tell me about your hair. Well, let me tell you about my hair. I am Mexican. I'm mixed race, and my mother is Mexican. She's from Mexico. My father is Creole. He is African American and French, and he's from Louisiana. I was born in Mexico, raised in the States. I am bilingual. I speak Spanish. It was my first language. And it's been very difficult living in mixed cultures and being of mixed descent. It's confusing and it was difficult because there's two different cultures, and it's difficult to blend them as you're growing up. And it's taken a while for me to find a balance. And it's taken actually decades to find that balance in cultures and make them work. So, with that being said, I grew up with, raised in a Mexican household, and I stood out. I was always 4 to 5 inches taller than all the other Latinas, and I had curly hair, and it had a little unusual pizzazz called frizz. But you see me wearing hats a lot around here, especially on days like this, and I'm not wearing one today because I have to give a speech. Then I stayed out of the wind this morning. I didn't go for my walk. So, anyways, it's taken me a while, like I said, to get used to these cultures, and now I'm glad I've been exposed to both. It's been awesome living in two worlds, and I can't say that I regret it. I love it. Also, I have 2 children. I have a 17-year-old daughter. She's a teenager right now, full-blown teenager. And I will get back to you on her later. Moving right along to my
Future speech material.
future story, that's right, updates stay posted. I have a 27-year-old son. He is a U.S. Marine. He's stationed right now in San Diego. And I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of my son. And he actually has done 2 tours in Afghanistan. He went to Afghanistan, let's see, 2 years ago, the first time. And I must say that I didn't know what I was expecting. I just, he joined, he trained, and next thing you know, they're sending you out. They're sending you overseas. And I was obliviously in denial about what war is about. And so off he went to war. And, it was, we Skyped and we talked and everything was fine. And I stayed in that place of denial. And then he returned. And this was difficult because he returned and, once you go off to war, you don't return the same. You're not the same person you were when you left. I mean, it's not impossible. And in his return, we were talking one day and he was sharing with me some things and I don't think he intended to share this with me, but he kind of zoned into this place and he told me that his sergeant, who was his friend as well, not much older than him, with a wife and a child, had blown himself up. And my son is an explosives engineer, so this is his company. They look for bombs, they make bombs, they detonate bombs, they're out there looking for stuff to blow up. And so this happened with his sergeant, and it really impacted him, and I'm sure other things that he saw. And when he was telling me the story, he glazed over, completely glazed over. And I've never seen a stare like that before. I've never seen anything like that. And it's kind of when they stare like that, you see the horrors, you see whatever they saw without actually having ever been there. And he went away for a second, and then he came back, sort of, and then I was never the same. Because at that moment, I saw what he lived for. And it scared me to death. So he returned once again to Afghanistan. This second time around, I was scared, I was terrified, and I really, really battled emotions from the past that had to do with why I'm here now, to regain some skills that I misplaced somewhere. And those emotions dealt with death, dealt with burying my father at 44 to alcoholism. I also had a 9-year-old brother that I buried to cancer, and 20-year-old to suicide. So a lot of fear and anxiety arose, and very, very hard to not lose my mind. The only thing that kept me really was my faith. My faith has always gotten me through. I believe that's probably why I'm still here, coherent, and able to speak, because as well as I like, I'm working on it, but I'm doing it, and I overcame it, and 5 months later, he did come home. It was grueling 5 months, tormenting for me, but he came home safe and sound and in one piece. So with all those things that happened to me in the past, and kind of loss of passion and a desire to help and to serve people, I've always worked in the social field, as a counselor, as a case manager, even in ministry, which I really love. And all that went away. It all got buried somewhere. And my son, when he returned the second time around, life has a way of making you feel like you kind of lose meaning to the things that once had meaning and purpose. Sometimes when you go through things, you figure out you want to help people, and you use that as fuel to motivate and inspire others, or to help them get through to another place and transition. And I've lost that. But my son, when he returned, he said he was talking to my cousin, went to visit him in San Diego, and he said that, and all that he'd seen and whatever, he said, the strongest people that I know, the strongest women that I know is my grandmother, my cousin he was speaking to, and my mom. And that right there just changed something in me. It created a spark, and it reminded me that everything was not in vain. It was not for naught, that there is a reason and there's still purpose. And a word of encouragement means it can mean the world to someone. And that's basically what I want to say, close with. That never underestimate a word of encouragement, kindness. It may seem small and minute to you, but you never know. It could be what somebody needs to hear just to get them through another day.